Okay, how does it sound now? There we go. There we go. There we go. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? No bare legs. Can you hear me? No, you cannot hear me. Can you hear me? I did something different. Better. Is it? Can you hear me? Is it good? Volume up, please. Okay. There we go. How does that sound? Does it sound loud enough? I've been told, I'm not going to say who told me this, but that because it's been too loud. Has it been too loud in the past, Joodles? Is it okay now? Is it perfect now? Claire says she can hear me perfectly, but I think she could hear me in a hurricane perfectly. Thank you. Sign language, more fun. You know what it is, because I had the earphones, and if I plug the earphones in, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So that's a crisis has been averted. All right, we got 18 people here so far. I can hear bugger all. Is that a joke? Are you making a joke? You cannot joke to Lewis. Look at my face. Look at that face. Oh, okay, what about the chat box? Let's put the chat box up. Chat box. Can you see the chat box? Where is the chat box? Now you can hear. Can you hear? Okay, we can hear. All right, I'm going to ask one more time. If you cannot hear, if it sounds tinny, whatever it sounds like, just say, I cannot hear. And then I'll try to correct it. But I think we've corrected it already. Okay, see that? This is what happens. Then the show gets off on a crisis thing. I've been told that if I had a guess, I'm calmer. I'm calmer. But then again, it's an hour into the show. If you call this a show, it's not really a show anyway. But thank you very much for everyone. Thank you, Lorna. Thank you, Claire, for saying beautiful. Thank you very much. Alan Williams is here, which I appreciate seeing. Alan, thank you for coming in here. Thank you for coming in. I've got 19 people online here. Ruben, good to see you, Ruben. And so we've got people coming in. Let me see what's going on the actual YouTube screen. It says 20 people watching. Started streaming 20 minutes ago. So what happened, as a reward, I'm not going to wait to tell you what happened yesterday. Like 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe it was 1 o'clock in the morning, I thought I would go take the stream from yesterday and cut off the little bit at the end. Can you picture this? Where, because at the end of each show, I don't talk. I let the people talk. Maybe that's a mistake to do. I keep the show running, and so I don't do anything. So I thought, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that little bit at the end. But I don't know whether that's the bit that's deleted. I didn't know. I thought that was the bit that I was deleting, but instead of this bit that I'm deleting, can you see this? I don't know if you can see this. I don't know where we are. Where are we? Here we go. It's a bit odd. We're at a few seconds delay. Anyway, so instead of deleting this bit, I deleted this bit. Instead of this bit, I deleted this bit. And this is the bit that had Liz on the show. If you call this a show. It's not a show. It's not a show. There's nothing prepared. It's just like I'm talking to my friend Liz. You know, or I don't know. I don't even know if she's a friend of mine. She's just a nice girl that I like. So I think she's my friend. And she might be my friend. It seems like she's my friend. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. And then today I was in the park, walking in the park, and I went to the fair. They have a fair. I didn't go to the fair. I was walking in the park. I'm saying, why are all these people? And then I realized, okay, it's a Saturday. It's a Saturday. There are people in Peckham Rye Park, but they were going to the fair. So I said, oh, I'll go over to the fair. And I saw 4 people that I knew. My friend Martin Sohn, who lives right down the block. My friend Darren Walsh, you know him? He's the pun guy on the TV. He's the guy who says always says, he thinks in puns. He's brilliant. He's an actual comedian. He doesn't think he's a comedian, but he's an actual brilliant comedian. There was Chris Lynham, who was a guy, is a comedian as well. Comedian, he was there. And Siobhan, who was manning the booth at the Aylesbury booth. And what they want to do with the Aylesbury is they just want to tear down the buildings and build more buildings, because that's where Southwark Council makes its money, by building buildings, letting them run down, slumification. Then they say, oh, we're going to have to tear them down, when they could have just, they're perfectly good buildings. You don't have to tear down a building after 40 years or something. They say, we're going to tear it down and build more buildings, of which they get paid a certain amount of money for each apartment. For each apartment that they build, right? Do you know anything about this? That's what Southwark Council does. So that's 4 people that I saw. I don't know that many people. I used to be very involved in local politics when we were fighting to save the cemeteries. What Southwark Council was doing there was they were saying, look at how they let the cemetery run down. They don't take care of the cemetery. They say, oh, the cemetery's run down. What we're going to do is we're going to cut down the trees that have grown on top of the graves, and then we're going to take the memorials, the headstones, and we're going to crush them, because they don't care about English people, basically. They don't care about people. That's what it is in this country. That's one thing you have to, thank you, Lud. That's one thing you have to learn about this country. I learned it. That our own governments, the councils, the local authorities, or the government in Westminster, they don't care about the people that elects them, because people vote stupidly. They say, oh, I'm a Labor supporter because I'm working class. Or you get what you deserve if you say that. You get what you deserve by being a working class. I was picking up litter. That's what I went into the park to do, is to pick up litter. But so, hello, Lord. Hello, Carrie Macca. How are you? Okay, so let's get back on track here. Let's go all the way back down. Yeah, so this is what the council does. The council has a cemetery there. They let the cemetery is full up. Nobody's burying anybody anymore. Okay? Nobody's burying. Kermit's here. Bud's here. Good to see you. Nobody's burying anymore. And then they let in Muslim people into the country who want to bury. Not that they care about burying Muslim people. They don't care, but they think this is where we've got to keep this. This is where the money is going to come in. We're going to collect money for this. Did I reprimand anyone for dropping litter? Jedster. Hey, Jedster. No, I did not. I picked up actually somebody's full nappy. Full nappy right there in the middle of the park. Daryl, who's a woman. Thank you. Oh, this is a blue shirt. This is the kind of shirt I used to wear all the time. Lewis, look. I piled on about 1.5 pounds. Yeah, pounds. Thank you, Ruben. Yeah, I did. My attitude is not good. I don't know what happened last night. I went and I had a bowl of mozzarella cheese. Which I shouldn't have had. Anyway, what am I doing? So I made a cup of tea. I'm gonna have to write that, because I had tea and I had 2 hot dogs, but no bun. Just the dogs. Just the Herta. But they're not Herta. I don't know. I got them at Lidl. So that's basically what I've added. Why, Lorna, will I be able to pick up lots of stuff tomorrow? Because I'm going to go to the shop. I probably won't go to the shop. Anyway, so where were we? What have I lost my train of thought? Is that so at 12 o'clock after our show, which I think went all right. It's always good when I have a guest, but I don't want to have a guest, because you people complain. You complained. You said, what about us? Pay attention to us. Right? And yes, I ate the balls. I eat mozzarella balls raw. And they're 125 grams. They're about 300 calories. And so 300 grams of food in the middle of the night. And you wake up and you're fat. You got to be careful. You've got to be relentless. Claire is helping me with the relentlessness. Thank you, Joodles is here. She's here too. Okay. Lewis is slim and beautiful. Thank you. How dare you? Ruben is saying bad things about me. Is he? You can't run with the foxes and hunt with the hounds. What does that mean? What is that? When did I say that? I never said that. You said that yesterday. That's Southern Council. Southern Council is pretending to be labor. And because you people out there voted labor, just automatically, I can never vote conservative. Because you're so fixed in what you believe and that you have to vote a certain way because we are working class, they get away with murder. They get away with murder. But I think the Labor Party is done. Is done. Do you think that they're done? Do you think the Labor Party is done? But then the Green Party, you just see the Green Party just appointed this Muslim Islamicist to be the vice chair of the Green Party, and that's the Green Party is the trans gay party, whatever they are. And the conservatives were pretty awful too. But you've got to vote for the party that represents you. You don't say, well, I could never vote conservative. You got to say, well, what are you offering me? It's like you say, I'm never going to kiss Lewis Schaffer. You say, Lewis, what are you offering me? What are you going to do for me to make me happy? You find out, well, maybe Lewis is offering a bit more than whatever you're doing. I think both uniparties are done unless Rupert takes over the Tories. I mean, maybe we need somebody strong. The conservatives need somebody strong. I mean, sometimes what happens is because we're on a continuum. Let's get the continuum thing here. Is on one side you have the left, on one side you have the right, and the left is really left, and the right, hopefully, it's even righter than the Reform Party. So in between, there can't be like, oh, let's all get together, let's find unity, let's be in the middle, the Venn diagram garbage that I've spoken about before. Lorna says she's never voted for Labour. Well, sometimes you have to vote for them. Sometimes you have to. You gotta. But now it's too late. It's too late. They've been, all these parties. I mean, I shouldn't talk about this because I'm a visitor to the country, and maybe they'll wake up and they'll say, we're going to kick out me, not just kick out the other people. Yeah, yeah. I think the Conservative Party are history because their old voters are now reformed. That's totally true because they didn't do what they needed to do back in the day when there should have been somebody shouting for the British people, shouting for you horrible, horrible people. You like women. You like, maybe not like women. You're not horrible. Okay. But basically, yeah, I think the conservatives, Avocado Man, thank you for pointing that out. Joe is here. Thank you, Joe, for coming in. And thank you, Maltese Phil. Okay. Is it somebody? It's not about Yorkshire anymore. It's not about independence of Yorkshire. It's about fighting for your home team. That's what I see it as, your home team. If Rupert totally took over the Tories and cleared out anyone who was associated with Bojo's lot, then flanked Nigel from the right, he'd have a chance. Nigel is chasing the Overton window. Yes, well, that's what I think he's doing. I don't really understand what it means, the Overton window. What it basically means he's trying to be old school enough so that he's respected by the BBC. So he's a respected leader. When the truth is, this country needs a real person who goes, oh my God, I can't believe he just said that. Oh, that makes sense. You know what happened today? That's a good point. That's what Kermit says. He's chasing the Overton window. We need somebody who is so far out there that we're all coming in. Claire thinks Farage is a fake. I don't know. Might be. The public are more right-wing than Nigel. That's right. So Nigel's in the middle, and we don't need a middle. We don't want to be associated with the middle. We need strong. I think this is what it is. I don't know if I'm being right. We got 32 people watching. Thank you. I will never need to vote for the Labor bastards. Yeah, well, you don't know. Maybe they'll change. Maybe someday they'll change. But it's not them, it's us. Keith Bexley says, you know what? I am unsure and wouldn't vote. Wouldn't vouch. I think it's with his U in there for Nige. But you can only hope he is playing the game. You can't say the wrong thing, so he's playing it safe, I hope. Can you? Is he playing it safe? We're in a state of war right now. We're at war. we're at war. We're like Churchill says, we're going to fight from the beaches and whatever. He wasn't playing it safe. And that's what we don't need someone who's playing it safe. We need someone to shout, we're deporting them and their families. Goodbye. Except for Lewis. We're not going to deport Lewis. Stop saying you're a visitor. We finally adopted you. You're an honorary Englishman. Thank you, Ruben. I appreciate that. But it could happen. They could say, you're not allowed to speak about this. It could really, really happen. I mean, look at the lack of democracy and openness in this country, the lack of free speech. It could happen. It is happening. But that's what Keith Bexley would not vouch for Nigel. I mean, maybe they've said to me, maybe Nigel said, listen, don't have Lewis Schaffer on the show. Don't have Lewis Schaffer on GB News. He's not supporting me enough. I mean, I think he's better than all the rest, but there are people out there who are screaming, and I've said it on the air. Somebody needs to scream for Britain. I have no faith for Nigel. This is what Judel says, and she knows her stuff. She's paying attention. At all, Keith, he's out for himself, yeah. Well, you could be out for yourself, but yeah, someone needs to be out for Britain. The king is not out for the British people. I'm an insomniac. Is that a song? What song is that, Lucy? Why do you have to tell us you're an insomniac? Keith Bexley comes back in. I'm glad Keith has a lot to say. Again, I can't be sure, says Keith. But, okay. But he kind of doesn't have to say anything to get in power at the moment. Like Labour. He's better off just not messing it up. Maybe he's doing the right thing. I mean, I don't really fully understand English politics. It's so different than American politics. American politics is every guy is independent because they collect their own money. Here in this country, they got to be part of a team. And the problem with Farage is he owns the team. He's the manager, the owner and the manager of the team. Farage betrayed us since he was the leader of the UKIP. He's groomed us to think he was the outsider, the savior, says Claire C. Okay? He's just like all the rest, and of course, he's going to be the next prime minister. It's fixed that way. Okay, I hadn't even thought about that. It could be fixed. It could be. There's a lot of fixing going on. Judel says, Nigel is more than likely the reason you're not on GB News. Lewis, could be. Are you saying that seriously? It could be. Yeah, maybe it's true. Because I can't keep my mouth shut. This is maybe why you like to listen to me, but I can't keep my mouth shut. I can't go, I try to sometimes. I say, what, I like him, he's a friend of mine, whatever, but I don't like him. As everyone keeps saying, in the world of politics, no one has faith in the Tories or Labour. So they're turning to reform for a total change. As in no hope, Joe says. This is what Joe says. Yeah, Joe. There is no hope in the Tories. There is no hope in Labour. So who do you have hope with? The new party of Corbyn. Because at least you know what they believe in. Which is not good. It's not good. It's not good for this country. It's good for globalism and Islamic takeover of the entire country. Joe. Kermit says, I can't love Nigel. It was only a few months ago that Stephen Edgerton, that he said mass remigration cannot happen and the Muslim vote is important. Now his story has changed. Not leading, but following. Yeah, not leading, but following. I mean, Ruben says he delivered Brexit. I guess he delivered it, so that's an accomplishment. But what's happened since then, since 2016? It's only 9 years ago. Okay. Maltese Phil says spot on the comment on Nigel. Yeah. Okay. Okay, when you get rid of the most hard-working politician because he's more popular than you, we know Nigel cannot be trusted. Are you talking about what's his name? What's his name? Rupert Lowe? Are you talking about Tommy Robinson? Are you talking about people, you're just only worried about yourself? I mean, Donald Trump did that too, kind of. Sort of, kind of, sort of. When you get rid of the most, yeah, that's what Judel says. You can't be trusted. Hi, Barry. Lucy comes in and says, hi, Lorna. Hi, Lucy. Judels and Claire, says Keith Bexley. I agree, but also, he's the best we have at the moment. Is that the right thing? Is that the right way to look at things? The best we have. It's like with medicine. They say, we don't know. We don't know why this is happening. This is what the scientists say, but it's the best answer we have. But you know it's wrong. So why would you even say it's? You got to say we don't know. Why can't you say we don't know instead of that's the best answer we have? We don't know, Keith, because that's what the scientists do. They don't say we don't know what the answer is, but they do say this is the best answer we have, meaning take this medication, even though it's going to give you a disease. Yes, Judels. Rupert Lowe was great, but he had to go because he was stealing Farage's spotlight. Well, yeah, that also can happen. It's like in New York when Giuliani was mayor of New York. He was the mayor of New York. You probably don't know this, and they had the new police chief who was cleaning everything up, and he wanted all the credit, the new police chief, and the mayor goes, no, you're not getting credit unto me. I'm the mayor of New York. You're just the police chief, and I appointed you, so you're out. And people go, oh my God, how could they kick the guy out? But I understand what Giuliani was doing. Yeah, so Claire is thinking that yeah. I agree with that Nick Tancani would be better, Keith. Who is Nick Tancani? I never even heard that name. I should have been up on this. Nick. Hey, I'm not reading the newspapers I used to read. I'm not reading the newspapers. I hate to give them the money. And my son isn't here. I used to ask my son, I said, what's going on in the news? We've got almost 40 viewers here. That's really good news. How many viewers do we have? We have almost 40 viewers. So we're heading back on track. Anyway, thank you guys for coming in there. Thank you for coming in there. Thank you for coming in there. Let's see what's going on. Let's go back here. What's happening here? Nigel has appointed Lee Anderson as welfare spokesman. What does that mean? Well, I mean, he might know what he's doing, Lee Anderson. I've met him. I like him. I think he likes me. I mean, I don't know. He's one of those people. Whatever that means. Ray, New York, mayor, police chief. It boils down to the fragile egos of men, and women are not fragile. You know, take that back, Judels. I'm a man. I take personal insult at that. You take that back. Did that seem believable? That's what women say. They say horrible things like that, and no one ever says to them, that's totally stupid. That's totally stupid. Men don't have fragile egos. Men actually, you know, women, I don't know what's the bad part about women. They're not overly keen on Lee either. He's all a bit Jimmy for me. What does that mean, Kermit? Which Jimmy? Tigger is here. Hello, everybody. Good to see you, Tigger. What does that mean? He's a bit Jimmy. Which Jimmy? I like Lee Anderson. I wonder when Farage will kick him out. Yeah, maybe it's possible. Paul Manning remixes. He's coming in to say hello. But who? He's all a bit Jimmy. Yeah, what does it mean? What does that mean, Kermit? A bit Jimmy. I never heard that. How is the sound? We're doing a momentary sound check. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? He will if he says anything that's on the right of Nigel. Well, Nigel owns the company. Nigel, we're going to look back and think Nigel was a great, great, great man. But, you know, political parties in this country are not great. They're not great. I'm okay with Lee, says Joe. I just wondered what the role means. It was just announced. You know, maybe it's giving him a position so he gets invited to stuff. Who knows? Who knows? Nigel got rid of Rupert because of a fragile ego. It's not a fragile ego. Nigel wants success for himself because he believes he can make the biggest change. He doesn't want somebody else who's going to take away, because he believes he's like Trump. He believes he knows what he's doing. So it's not an ego. It's not like, oh, someone's looking at somebody else. It might be that, but it's not that. Why do we need to read men in any context? You put the word men in there, fragile men, in any context, and immediately flip. But what about women? Because you wrote men there. It was a personal insult to you. Yes, because you said men to me, which is a personal insult to me. I'll take. Rudd comes in and says, what about Pen Habib? I saw him speak. I liked him, but he's not English. We need English people in this country. I mean, he might be good, but you need someone who's our own, not our own, your own. I'm not English. I'm an Ashkenazi Jew. I'm dark. I'm like black. You can see I'm black. Can you see how dark my hair was? My skin used to be dark before I got old. Okay, take it down a tad. Yeah, how about that? I made it a bit lower. Teaser. How does that sound? Does that sound a bit lower? Hi, Ian. Subdued. And Julian likes Rupert. He puts a big exclamation point right after Rupert. So there you go. I like Ben, Kermit says. But I don't think he'll do much without the likes of Rupert. Yeah, they should. Basically, unless something happens, our man is Nigel Farage. You should run for Nigel Council next year. No, I can't run for council because I'm not British. I'm not British. I'm not allowed to vote. A Nigerian is allowed to vote because it's Commonwealth or something. But basically, anybody's allowed to vote. Any country that Britain stepped in can vote in local elections. I believe these are the rules, except for America. One big exception, America. Why? We invented voting. Reform is still the only party on the right that can deliver. Don't split the vote, or we'll end up with 4 more years of labor. Does it still sound distorted? Teaser. Does it sound distorted? Does it sound distorted? Okay, I'm going to lower it just a little bit. Is that too low? Is that too low? How does this sound right now? How does this sound? It sound is very. I'm on one button. Can you see the dot down there? I'm on one. It sounds less distorted, but can you hear me? Let's see what Claire says. I would vote for Lewis. Thank you. I can't run. Because I'm an American. Sounds good, says Claire C. Sounds fine. Okay, maybe I had it up too high for all the different shows, for the 5 shows. I was messing with it. What is English these days? Says Maltesville. I was born and raised in Donny. Jewish granddad. I have Viking DNA. I'm still English? Yes. I watch England play football, but then so do my Maltese friends. It's like what I say about America. If you love America, you're American. If your country is some other place, then it's like why I question whether I'm English. I'm not English. I mean, I love England, but I'm not English. It's a very good question. I'm not saying you have to be white to love this country. You have to be white to be English. But you can't be someone who hates this country as it is. You got to love your country. Jim Carter is here. Hello, Jim. Welcome to the show. Where are you from again, and are you fat? How much do you weigh? How tall are you? Neither does Reform, Ruben, says Judels. Judels always has. She's got a great voice. I mean, a great voice, not a voice, but a great voice, meaning what's going on in her head. Except when it comes to men, she's like, well, not all, but a lot of people hate men. I'm not saying she hates men, but she thinks that, I believe in men. Imagine supporting a justice secretary who thinks men in dresses should be put in women's prisons, FF's sake. Yeah, maybe. Maybe you're right. Nadine Dorries. Don't make me laugh. Yeah, but I mean, the truth is, maybe we can't, and I'm not saying this, and don't get mad at me, but these women are in prison. You know what I mean? And women don't get sent to prison for slight things like the way. Now, I'm not saying men get even sent for major slight things, but women do not get sent to prison as much. As much, 1/10 as much. They don't. And women do bad things and should be sent to prison. But you're worried they're not having a great time in there because there might be men in there. Not a great time. I mean, that's an interesting point. So Keith Bexley says, hello, Jim. Good to see you, Jim. Are you fat, Jim? Where are you living? How old are you? All that stuff. Let's hear that stuff, please. I went to a computer shop and said, whenever I plug my laptop, I think this is Joe coming in, a laptop, it overheats. The lady said, that's not a laptop, that's a George Foreman bar and grill. That's all right. That's a good jokey joke. Paul Manning. Hello, Paul Manning. Where are you from? Are you fat? Nadine Dorries. What happened to her? I haven't heard much about her for a while. Yeah, because that's the system we live in. You know, you fall afoul and they don't want to see you anymore. And you can't, it's not like in America where you take a look at someone like the Florida governor, what's his name? And he spoke out against, what's his name? Against Donald Trump. But he's still around because he collected his own money and he had his own power base and he decided to run again. And he didn't have to ask a bunch of old people or whoever it is decides on how people are selected. This whole selection process, I'm against. I'm against the selection process. So Claire says, hi, Jim. Can you hear what I'm asking? Jim, where are you from? Again, you probably told me this. How much do you weigh? Are you fat? How tall are you? Tell me the whole story. Paul Manning, see, he answers the question. I'm not fat, Lewis. I'm from Devon, dear boy. Yeah, that's that English. I'm from Devon, dear boy. Yeah, okay, that's a good news. Good news. I love Devon. Give her my regards. Ruben. Ruben says this. Joodles, these creases will be ironed out. I don't agree with them on everything, but they are trying to create a broad church which makes them electable. Who are you talking about? Reform? Reform? You don't need a broad church in a war. You need someone who's, we're going to fight for England. We'll fight afterwards. That's what we need. We're fighting for England. We're fighting. If you love England, you vote for this party. That's our party. Joodles, says Ruben. Okay, that's right. So where are we? It's the Overton window, Ruben. Exactly as Kermit says. So what did Ruben say? They'll be ironed out. We don't need an Overton window. We need someone who's going to fight for England. Shanks is here. I think you're still on the webcam mic and not the CEX mic. Yeah, probably you're right. Is that why it doesn't sound well? You deserve bad sound, you people. You deserve bad sound because you don't tell me when the sound is bad. You don't tell me what I can do to fix it. You just go, oh, it's bad. You know what I mean? That's like British people. You deserve what you get. And that's what I'm saying. You cannot deserve what you get. You got to fight for it. You got to say, it's not quite working. Let's figure out. Tap it. I'm tapping it. You know, how about this? Can you hear this? Can you hear that? I'm tapping it. Kermit. Let's fight for good sound. If you can't fight for good sound, then how can you be expected to fight for this country? I think the Overton window is explained. It's the equalizer, Lewis. Your range is too high on the master settings. Well, where is the master settings? I've turned it off. I've turned the mixer off. It's not on. Maybe I should pull this plug. And I'll go here. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? How does that sound? Turn it down a touch. I can't turn it down. I'm in the lowest setting. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? How does it sound right now? I can hear you, Shanks. Does it sound good or does it sound bad? Turning the mixer off is probably the issue, but we can hear you and it's fine. Does it sound fine? Don't say we. Nobody knows what we means. You can hear me fine. Who else? Loud and clear. Does it sound crispy clear? Tell me, does it sound crispy clear? That's what we need to do. Fight for the sound. Fight for the sound. Fight for the sound. I mean, because I can't tell. I will have to go. I'm going to have to listen to this afterwards. Claire says it's not crispy. Joe, I was talking about... Okay, sounds fine, says Lud. Wrong mic, use the big one, says Teaser Pop. It's not the microphone, it's your stupid speakers. Where are my speakers? I have no speakers here. This is not plugged in. Where are my speakers? Maltese Phil. Okay. Well, it's not... It'll do. That's what Kermit says. Okay, sound, until you get too close. So maybe I have to be back here. How's that? How is that? Okay, I never heard that. How does it sound? Oh my God. This is so irritating, really. I don't want to use the microphone here. I have a microphone that I paid $75. CEX mic is best. This mic, the webcam mic, is okay. So here we go. Does this sound better? Does this sound better? Not Lewis Schaffer speakers. Like my speakers are a decent brand, and it sounds fine. So you think it's the People speakers. How does this sound? I'm using this microphone now. I'm using the CE. Whoops. That's off. Why is it still off? Let's just put this off. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Okay, let's put this back. Okay, here we go. Does that sound perfect? Does that sound perfect? Did someone say it sounds bad? Sounds fine to me. Julian asked about the Fabian. Now this says better because I turned off the mic, the desktop audio, and I'm only using this. Perfect, perfect, says DSP. Well, thank you, DSP. Thank you. Where are you from again, DSP? I need to be introduced to people a million times. Are you fat? Where are you from? How tall are you? What diet are you on? Okay, so all right, so let's march on. We're gonna march on. We're gonna talk about something else. Let's talk about. Come back, producer Rolls. Yeah, he's up. He's actually in town. He's staying at a friend's house in North London. He's not coming in here. Stevenage. And you're tall, but not fat. Okay, DSP. What does DSP stand for? What does it stand for? What does it stand for, DSP? What does it stand for? Let's find out. Let's find out. Claire comes in and says, hi, DSP. She's very friendly. Claire. Dave, and SP says something else. Maybe. Okay, maybe. Okay, it's good enough. Good enough. Good enough. So what I've been thinking about is, what have I been thinking about? I've been watching the RFK thing. Do you see how RFK is screaming at these senators? Do you see them? Do you see them? He's screaming at the senators, and each one of the senators that he's screaming at has independent power, where they're not chosen by the Democratic Party. They're not chosen by Joe Biden. Okay? They can maybe be made life a little bit difficult, but they're on their own. And so that when they scream at somebody, they were screaming at RFK. Thank you, Dave. When they were screaming at RFK, is they can scream at RFK because they've got one vote in Senate and they've been elected on their own. And that's why I think that's one of the best. The American system is such a good system, basically. Reform, speaking out about the VAKINE, is that like, harms? And that's huge, yeah. Well, Because we're in a state of war, and when you're in a state of war, there are two sides. There's no Overton window anymore. There's no, what do you call that? There's no Venn diagram middle space. There's only people over there and people over here. And you know what? Maybe you like the vaccines, but we need a party that doesn't like the vaccines because we're at war. RFK has a tough job, man, says Kermit. He has decades of harm and corruption to undo. Yes, he does. And that's why when Donald Trump hired him, I was like amazed by that. And when he switched sides, okay, because he's a lifelong Democrat, he wasn't just going against the Democratic Party. I don't think that's what this was about. He was saying how America is the most unhealthy country in the world. And you take a look at this country here, this got to be the second most unhealthy country in the world. All the sick people. And where does the sickness come from? Comes from food and pills and a bad lifestyle. And that's what he's saying. He's saying, I don't believe in the bad lifestyle. We've got to be healthy. I mean, and you know what? He's the most popular person in the administration. Because remember how these people are chosen. In Britain, you have to be in Parliament, basically, in order to be chosen as the Chancellor of the Exchequer, or as, you know, they got to appoint you to a lifelong thing in the House of Lords to make you foreign minister. But in America, you can pick anybody you want to lead the health department or the justice department or the military department. You don't have to pick one of your own people. They got enough problems as it is, you know. So that's what. And then he picked what's his name? He picked RFK. I didn't like the guy, and I think he, you know. Remember, I've been a carnivore, which is I eat only meat for. Look at how I look. For about 6 years, 6 years, for 6 full years. I'm not a complete carnivore. I eat some carbs. Like today, I went into the park and I had 2 tiny apples, maybe 100 grams of apples. But I'm doing what I want to do. I agree. There is a massive feeling of unrest, unhappiness, and anxiety, Teaser Pop, says Joe. Yeah, there is that. Yeah. It's not an issue for the U.S. Food Corps, as they already make better versions for the rest of the world. What are you saying? You're saying that the American food companies. What are you saying, Kermit? Ruben, we need proportional representation in this country. What does that mean, proportional representation? That's not what we have in America. Okay? I mean, we do have proportional. What does that mean, proportional representation? Like what the liberal Democrats proposed? So if you get 50% of the vote, you're going to get 50% of the seats? If you get, like in Israel, why Israel's a mess? Because if you get 5% of the vote, you get 5% of the thing? No, that's not good. That just creates arguments on a higher level. I've just discovered blueberry jam, Jim Carter says. Very tasty. I'm 5'10" and too heavy. Because you discovered blueberry jam. What is blueberry jam? Except it's blueberries and sugar. How heavy? You're too heavy. How heavy? You know, what did you have for breakfast today? What did you have for lunch? How many meals a day do you have? How many hours a day are you eating? How many carbs are you eating? Only 17 beef farms out of 750,000 in the U.S. don't use growth hormones and therefore can export it. Yeah, the food corps already make better food for us or Canada with no high fructose corn syrups, etc. They would. What are we talking about importing food? We got enough food in this country as it is, you know. But I mean, yeah, I've just had blueberry sky, whatever that is. Yeah, it's yummy. It's the yogurt. It's yummy, but it's not. It's yummy because sugar is yummy. A teaspoon of sugar is just as yummy as blueberries. There are many types of proportional representation, so you can't just recommend proportional representation. And it's not a problem. It's not proportional representation that's bad in this country. It's the parliamentary system, which is, I know you think it's amazing, but remember when there was the parliamentary system in Britain back in the day. When they set up the system in America, they didn't use it, and they studied it and they studied it. Teaser Pop says this country will pop soon, Lewis. There's lots of things in place by government and police right now. Yeah, we'll pop. What does that mean? Yeah, they'll say, you know what, we need to enforce stuff. You can see that they're going and knocking on people's door. I'm afraid they're going to knock on my door and say, Lewis, what did you say? I mean, just yesterday, somebody called me a CU next Tuesday, I guess that's what it's called, for what I said about disabled people, which I didn't mean. So what do I got to sit there and argue it? And you can't even argue it with these people. Okay. What I'm saying, this is what Kermit says, is that U.S. food corporations, corps, claim that it would be too expensive to change, yet they already make the different recipes. They just use that for the U.S. too, as well as Europe. Yes, yeah. You know what? I guarantee you, when we stop buying their stuff, which is what I have, I don't buy their stuff. You know, when you don't have to buy their stuff in this country or anywhere. Then they'll change. Lewis, are there any foods or specific dishes that you miss from Brooklyn that you can't get over here? No, not anymore, because I eat raw red meat. That's what I eat, and eggs. And you can get that here. And the meat is probably better here than it is. I mean, American meat is amazing. It's amazing. But the meat here is good too. I think. I mean, maybe I'm not sure. You tell me it's not good. It's down to us to save it, says Claire C. We are living in a war zone. We got to save the country. We need to get serious. Yes. Correct, but enjoy. That's what Jim Carter says. I'm 74 this month. Moderation is the key to most things. I don't believe that. How many plastic bags do you eat? You try not to eat any of it. But you should be moderate with your eating of plastic bags. No, you should just say, I'm not going to eat plastic bags. Marianne is here. Beautiful, beautiful Marianne McCara. Late, but here. Thank you very much. Lucy. Hello, beautiful Lucy. Lewis is against the regulations that make Europe... No. Have I said that? Is that just like a test thing? Am I against regulation? Well... I'm against regulation if they stop you from eating raw meat or raw milk or prevent us from eating meat and milk and animal products at all. The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Am I against the importation of chicken that's been soaked in or washed in chlorine? You let people decide for themselves. I believe it should be marked. This has been washed in chlorine. Yeah. And you should have a choice. You say, I'm not afraid of chlorine. Basically, you should say that because you're eating salads, which are toxic to begin with, inside, and they're washed in chlorine. So it's a bit hypocritical to say we're not going to eat a chicken that's washed in chlorine, but it's okay to eat spinach or whatever. What is that thing called? These, the green salads, whatever. Both meat and milk, says Kermit, are way healthier for you here than they are in the USA. I bet that they are, because they're not raised on feedlots. They're raised on hillsides here. So I agree with that, Kermit, and that's what I eat. What did I have for breakfast today? You didn't ask, but I'll answer that question. I had about 150 grams of raw-ish, mostly raw. It was mostly raw. I cooked the outside a little bit, not cook it. I just because I'm obsessed with germs, because I've been brainwashed with this stupid germ theory. And I had 4 eggs, and I had about an ounce of butter. That's what I had. It's not the chlorine wash, but it's the fact that farmers are happy to have lesser standards knowing it will be washed. Okay, let's take it one step further, Kermit. I'm not afraid of lesser standards. I'm not afraid of that. I'm a bit of, because I believe in a proper legal system. Whereas if it's not cleaned enough, they can be sued and put out of business. I don't believe the government should be sitting there watching our farmers. Okay? They want to watch our farmers because that's how the farmers make money. They go, well, we're clean. I'm not saying this properly. How would you feel if you hadn't eaten breakfast today? I wouldn't feel that bad because I'm not on a carb diet. So I don't, I mean, 2 days ago, it was 5 o'clock. It was 5 o'clock before I ate, right before the show, before I ate something. Are you asking me that question? You will feel hungry if you're on a carb diet. If you're not on a carb diet, that's why I can talk about food and I don't get hungry. I used to not be able to talk about food. I used to have to hide in there. On Tuesday, the 16th of September. Yes. I don't know. I don't know if I can go. I just got a message. I don't know if I've got a message. With Millwall is playing, or Crystal Palace is playing Millwall at Millwall. And my friend Tristan, who's come on the show, he's actually asked me if I could go see the show on the 16th. I mean, not the show, the match. And I don't know if I can. The 16th, 17th, 18th seems like a busy time. I'll have to check that. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you could skip a meal. I used to not be able to take a test at 10 o'clock in the morning because I could not skip eating at night. I used to wake up at night every 3 hours and eat something because I was not addicted to food. It's carbs that make you hungry. If we want to lose weight, everyone, we stop eating carbs because they make us want to eat more. And you have to be super strong in order to say no to that, like Claire. Okay. Didn't Howard Hughes have your affliction about germs too? No, I'm in favor. I don't believe he believed in germs. I don't believe in germs. I don't believe. You know what it is? Look at me. Look at me licking things. I don't believe in germs. I don't care about germs. So I'm the opposite of Howard Hughes. I think I am. Am I that way? Did I answer that properly, Lucy? Did I answer that question? Okay, I was halfway through eating a horse, and I thought, I'm not as hungry as I thought I was. Horse meat supposedly is very good. It's like cow meat. So why can't we eat horse meat? Why can't we eat it? I mean, instead of just killing them and just not doing anything with the animal, well, why can't we eat it? We need to eat it. That's a question prison psychologists use to assess IQ, apparently. What is the question? What was the question? What question are you talking about, Lucy? Lucy, everybody knows this. I love Lucy, like in the show, but she asks questions and we don't know what they're directed about. They're about some past thing no one cares. Some people can't answer it and say, but I did have breakfast today. Okay, well, I didn't know that was a question. Why is that a question, Lucy? That's a really good question. Why is it a question? We are happy to have eggs with poop and feathers on it, as long as it was a healthy farm. The U.S. wants to wash everything, then have to refrigerate the eggs from washing off the protective membrane. Yeah, so are you telling me the chicken poop is healthy, but washing it is unhealthy? Do you know how few people get sick from eating chickens anymore? You know how many sick people get sick from eating chicken eggs? It's because these people are unhealthy. We don't tend to eat eggshells, though. Yeah, like me, I take the egg inside and I use the hands and I pour, and then whatchamacallit comes through. Try eating that. That's what I had. I had that yesterday. Raw eggs. I don't know how many, 6 or 8 raw eggs. Yeah, so it's a different kind of thing. And do you know what? There's not a huge difference in the amount of people. And you know what? E. coli and whatever strep things. If you're healthy, you're healthy. If you're healthy, you're healthy. Be healthy, everyone. I don't know, do I seem healthy? I'm 68 years old. I have no pain. I go out walking. I bend down. I don't do the exercise that Lucy says I should do, but I bend down to pick up rubbish, I pick it up with bare hands, and my hands get dirty with the rubbish, and then I wash the hands. But basically, if it's dry, it's probably okay. U.S. eggs have a shorter shelf life. Protective membranes prevents air from entering the pores. Okay, so the eggs last longer in this country. That surely can't be such a great thing, but maybe it is. Air inside an egg is a bad egg. You know what? You know what? Let people decide what they want to do with an egg. I agree with you. I don't mind eggs here. I buy 15 eggs across the street. It costs me £3.75. How much do you pay for eggs? I buy 15 eggs. I will eat 15 eggs in a day and a half, maybe 2 days. Okay, Kermit says that the airy eggs are not good. They float. Is floating a bad sign? Lucy is laughing at Joodles. Or laughing with Joodles. I don't know. They get it. What did Joodles say? Both times. Oh yeah. Maltese Phil said, I've had a horse. It was delicious. Horses grown for food aren't the same as the working type. Why? Why aren't they the same? Because they probably have less fat in them. 15 eggs at Lidl are £3.15. That's a good, but is it worth it? Because I got to take the eggs from Peckham High Street and go all the way home, and they're gonna break. They're gonna break, and then I don't know. Do they stop you nowadays if you buy too many eggs? I need 15 eggs a day. Do you buy free range? Jim Carter asks. I assume that's to me. Do you? No, I buy the cheapest eggs. The cheapest eggs. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you, Marianne. Like, subscribe, and share. Go to Discord. If you enjoy bending down, Lewis, maybe you should collect litter up on Hampstead Heath. That's humorous. That's humorous. Do they stop you if you buy too many eggs? Yeah, because there was a shortage of eggs a couple of years ago. Do you remember that? And you couldn't, I would go to Lidl and you buy 3 and they say, no, you can only buy 2. You can barely find any not free range eggs anymore. You must be buying the cheap catering ones. The truth is, they're all raised in these big barns, and all they need is one little door to escape to and to go outside, which is a little area outside. That's what that's what a free range egg is. It's not that I've asked about, I would prefer to eat an egg from a chicken that's been eating bugs and worms. I would, but I can't find it. Yeah, they used to, Joodles. They used to stop you from buying that many eggs. You could barely, stockpiling eggs. I buy two packs every other day. I buy 2 things of eggs. Are these the best eggs? I live in Nunhead, okay? It's not East Dulwich. And even in East Dulwich, they don't, you go in. I used to go all the way to East Dulwich to ask for eggs. It's not all the way. It's maybe 2 miles or something to buy eggs. We used to look for these eggs, vitamin D eggs, vitamin D3 eggs. And I used to go down to Waitrose, right by the river in Dartford or Deptford or something. And a lot of times they didn't have it. It's like just too much. So I'm eating this. I'm going out in the sun. I buy the most expensive eggs, possibly golden yolks, fed on corn. Why, Reuben, do you want eggs that are fed just on corn? Why is that a good thing? Why is corn a good thing? Because I don't think corn is a good thing. Better than Battery Farm, where they can't even stand up. Yeah, that's bad. Reuben says he pays £4.20 for expensive eggs. So how much am I paying if I pay 15 eggs, cost me £3.75? And why is fed on corn good, Reuben? Explain that to me, because I don't think so. 1 dozen large white eggs are £5 locally here. Yeah, that's expensive. $5 locally, yeah. But they've come down in price, and you live in Peekskill is not one of the most expensive towns, but I assume. But the eggs were so expensive in America because of that COVID lie. My chum works for May Park Kermit? What is May Park? Absolutely, you do not want to know how they raise those chickens. Well, that's the old saying, my sausages. You don't want to know. You don't want to know. Is it safe to join? Well, we're talking about eggs, Vatanai. Where do you get your eggs from and how much do you pay? And what kind of eggs are they? Yeah, there used to be one near my brother's house. It was awful. Yeah, because chickens are dirty animals. They're chickens. They're dirty animals. Yeah, you're upsetting the egg community. But I believe in eggs, and I eat between easily 7 to 10 eggs a day, maybe more. That's a lot of eggs. A lot of eggs. That's about 2 pounds worth of eggs. But 10 eggs, how much would that be in where Marianne is? That'd be about be twice that much, maybe 4 pounds. What is that? What is that shop? Is that a shop you're talking about? May Park. Is that like an egg producer, May Park? Eggs believe in you, Lewis. If I was an egg, I'd stay away from me. And I don't cook the eggs. I eat the eggs raw. They're runny. I take the egg whites off, and I just eat raw eggs. You must barely poop, Lewis. That is exactly true. I barely poop. I barely poop. Your eggs are 25p each, Lewis. Reuben's are 42p. Are they better eggs? I'm not sure that they are. And I live in Peckham, in Nunhead, and I cross the street to go to the local shop. Because the expensive ones are also, they're fed corn. They're not fed anything better than my eggs are fed. But I am bunged up. We've discussed this. I'm not bunged up. But I may not poo every day. I could poo every 2 or 3 days. 2 or 3 days. Is that a problem? Because my poo is not that large. But sausages and bacon and black pudding are lovely. Yeah, but I don't think you should eat a lot of that. You shouldn't eat bacon. I have bacon here, but it's salty bacon. And it's cured. Salty and cured. And that can make you fat. Sausages, same thing. And black pudding, sort of the same thing. But it's, I love all those things. I thought pigs were clean. Who knew? Laugh out loud, Marion. Their diet. They're like humans. It's like us humans. If we eat a high carb diet, which has high in omega-6, we get a lot of omega-6. There's omega-3, 6, and 9. And we get a lot of omega-6 in our body. And that's not healthy. We need a lot of omega-3. We need like a 1-to-1 or a 2-to-1 omega-3. We need a lot of omega-3, which is in fish and beef. Okay. Let me see what I'm doing. I don't know where's my phone? Do you know where my phone is? Let me see what my phone says. There's my new phone. It's an old phone. Fresh eggs are way better, straight from the farm or something. Someone who had chickens, way more yellow and tasty. First of all, I will explain yellow to you. In America, they would feed the chicken eggs marigold petals. You know what a marigold is? The yellow, like those marigold gloves. And the egg yolks would turn yellow. The belief that yellow, Kermit, I'm not saying you're wrong or anything, because you're so helpful and fantastic, but yellow yolks are not an indicator of good health or good. Way more yellow and tasty, so I don't think that that's true. But by the time they've hit the supermarkets, they're already weeks old, older, more watery, white. Well, why is that bad necessarily? You got to show me the research on that. Are old eggs bad eggs? Are yellow eggs better than white eggs? The truth is, if you're feeding a chicken marigold petals to make the egg yolks yellower, so that they go, ooh, look at this, amazing egg yolks. Marianne, you would know this. Remember that ad where they showed the marigold petals that they were feeding chickens? My husband and I, this is what Marianne is saying, my husband and I were driving through Cavan, and I asked him, what does that smell? And he replied, pigs. No, it's the pig poo, probably. What is Cavan? Where is Cavan? Is that in Ireland? Okay. You don't have all comments turned on. I do not. I do not. Thank you for telling me. Thank you, Joodles. I appreciate that. What comments did I miss? Did I miss any comments? Try poaching an old egg. Okay, yeah, no, I don't have all the comments. My yolks are orange, says Ruben. Thank you for pointing that out. I need to be told this. Have you tried duck eggs? I did try duck eggs. My shop is a bit too posh for duck eggs. I love the smell of deportations in the morning. Well, it's helped America. They don't belong in America. And it's a big FU to Joe Biden. So whatever. And a country should decide who they want living there, teaser. Okay? Pigs are worse. They stink. They do stink. Poached eggs are nice. Yeah, because you want runny eggs. I eat runny eggs. And the way I make my eggs is I fry the eggs in the pan with beef fat, and the yolks never really cook, so they never get hard. And then I take them out of the pan. I cut the whites around it, so there's only a little bit of whites on the bottom. But the egg yolks are all runny. That's the way I have it. I think that that's important. Joe says, we love this section. It's the food section. It's really important. And I respect what you eat, you know. I respect this, as long as you're eating eggs. Okay? As long as you're eating eggs. I apologize. See, we've lost viewers. We've lost viewers. Okay, I want to apologize to you people. I love talking about this. I apologize. British eggs are date stamped. Yeah. So they're not too old. I love watching you, Lewis. You just have that sparkle, that extra something. Okay. Thank you very much. You know that the white bit that has the protein, the yolk, is just cholesterol. Number one, that is not true. There's more protein in the yolk, number one, and cholesterol is not bad for you. Haven't we been did you miss where I've been discussing this for weeks on end? It's albumin, says Joe. We don't need the whites. The whites have I forget what it's called, Avidin or something, that a lot of people are allergic to. And if I'm going to have 10 or more eggs a day, I don't want to eat something that I'm allergic to. Shush Weavers is here. Hello, Shush Weavers. They're date stamped with the best before rather than laid on. Yeah, so you got to work your way backwards. Yeah, you got to work your way backwards. We were driving through Cavan to get to Clones, County Monaghan, where my so you were in Ireland. You were in Ireland. Yeah, you were in Ireland. Marianne. Wow, I love learning new stuff on here. Yeah, well, we can all teach each other, and I'll say you're wrong. And I'll say you're wrong. Okay. So the point I'm making is, what was the point? We're talking about chicken eggs. We're talking about eating eggs and eating beef. Why were we discussing this? I don't remember. Grok agrees, Kermit. Lewis, egg white, approximately 3.6 grams of protein. Egg yolk, approximately 2.7 grams of protein. Well, there's way more whites than there are. Way more white than there is the yolk. Okay, so that's, yeah, so is that per 100 grams? There's way more white, so am I wrong or right? I eat whole eggs. It suits me fine. Well, how many do you eat in a day? Vatanai. Egg whites are very high in protein while also being richer in vitamin B3, potassium, and magnesium. I don't believe that. I think that's unnecessary. It's unnecessary. Says Ruben, Y-O-U-R-E, your. People are so much better than they used to be. On that, take no notice of Lewis. Sometimes he talks hoarse. Yeah, okay, but this is what I believe. White accounts for about 60% of the egg's total protein content, making it a richer source because it's bigger. There's way more whites than there is yolks. And it doesn't have as much nutrients as the yolks. Okay? It doesn't. Whites may be better for all those reasons, but I think the yolks taste so much better. Joe, you hit the right answer. That's the right answer. The yolks should taste like where they taste amazing. You just know they're healthier. Do you not know they're healthier? They're healthier. Okay, so I agree with Joe. The yolks actually taste like ice cream, and I put Parmesan cheese in it, and it tastes amazing. John Van Dam is here. Everybody say hello to John Van Dam. I poach eggs in the microwave. Takes about 1 minute. Got device off of Amazon. Is that cooking the entire egg so they're hard-boiled? I think it's making them hard-boiled. So I don't approve of that. I don't approve of hard-boiled eggs. Because you have to add mayonnaise to it, and mayonnaise are toxic seed oil, so I'm against it. All right, let's take a break for a minute. Can we take a break? Should we take a break? I've enjoyed this show, but I mean, I don't know. I think it's one of the best shows ever. But I thought that yesterday, and I deleted it crazily. Carbs taste much better. Does that make them healthier? No. No, you're right, Joodles. Good point. I can see your gap in your argument here. The point is, egg whites do not have all the stuff that you need. The reason why carbs taste better because it's sugar, and it's made to taste better because it's made to make people eat more. Soft boil does two at once. I mean, I fry my eggs. It takes about 30 seconds to fry an egg, and so that the egg yolks are red and raw and runny. Bodybuilders make omelets with more white than yolks. What is it? They're bodybuilders. They're a bit dumb. They're on steroids. They're dumb. They're dumb. Look at what they're eating. Big plates of pasta. They're idiots. They're also bodybuilding, and then they wake up one day and they're dead. Not that they're not nice people. They're lovely people. You are having plenty of yolks already. Laugh out loud. I know I'm having plenty of it. I don't need whites. I don't need whites. It's not that I can't have whites. If I make an omelet, I will eat whites when I mix it up. I would use Parmesan on runny eggs too. It hides the rawness. I use Parmesan. If you go to my Twitter thing, where's my Twitter thing? Go to my Twitter. You can see pictures. I have Parmesan every single day. Can you see this? I don't know whether you can see this. Can you see this? Can you see? Can we go here? Can we go? I don't know if we can see that. Lewis Schaffer. Lewis, hang this here. Lewis Schaffer. There's the Twitter thing. Find me on Twitter. Be a Twitter friend. I lose so many people on Twitter because I'm not saying stupid things to make people angry at me. And then occasionally, I'm not fighting with mentally disabled people. You just leave them. Whole eggs. Don't waste precious food. Well, do you eat the egg shells? I mean, well, who's wasting precious food when you're eating a plant-based diet? It's all. And so I always thought there was more nutrition in the yolks. I believe that. I believe there's more nutrition in the yolks. Let's Google that. We'll Google that. Okay, everybody. Let's Google that. I'm going to have to Google it. I'll Google it on my phone. I'm not going to Google it here because you might see like naked pictures of me doing horrible, horrible things if I pull the screen up. Okay, I'm sorry. I can't risk it. I can't risk it because you'll see horrible things and I'll go, oh, is that me? Was that me? Let's go back. Let's go back. What are we looking for? We're looking for egg yolks. Egg yolks. Egg yolks. Okay, I know you use Parmesan on your eggs. I see your post every day. Sorry about that button. I don't think anybody's looking at me. I don't get enough attention, I think, to myself. I'm saying I couldn't eat runny eggs without hiding the rawness. Yeah, that's you. You got to get used to it. You got to say, this is good for me. And it tastes delicious. I put it in a bowl. I eat it with a spoon. And it drips into my mouth, raw eggs. This conversation has gone egg cell. Excellence. It's gone excellences. Okay, good joke. Yolk has plenty of nutrition and vitamins, but the whites make the eggs the perfect package. Not if you have 10 eggs a day. You know what I mean? Naked pictures of you doing horrible things may be more interesting than eggs. Yeah, maybe. Send me a picture of you. Don't send me a picture. Don't. And I'm making a joke. It's a joke. And then someone's gonna say, he just asked me to send naked pictures of myself. He's a horrible man. And you're a guy too. You're a guy. Okay. Oh, that's Joe. Joe is not a guy. Sorry. I'm not asking you to send me. Don't send me naked pictures. I'll just fall in love with you and follow you home. And then I'll fall in love with you, and then I can't get rid of you. I can't, even if you know what I mean? I mean, this is the problem with me and women. This is what was pointed out to me. I love women. If you send me a naked picture of yourself, I can't believe we're talking about this, but I will love you. I will love you. I don't care if you're crazy, but you are crazy because you just sent Lewis Schaffer a picture. You may even send me this is what I look like, Lewis. I will like you. I'm going to cook my eggs more. Yeah. This is what Vatanai says. Hey, can we join this thing? Can you send me 10 pence a day so we can keep this thing going? You know, so you can see this thing. Do you pan fry yourself, Lewis? No, I try not to. I try. Should I? Daddy Bannister? Should I pan fry myself? Jim Carter says it's exciting to chat. Yes, the exciting thing. You're such an exaggerated character. I think you're talking to me, maybe? What are you babbling about? I'm babbling about pictures out there. I don't want anybody to see what's on my computer because who knows? Who knows what's there? Raw egg is a good shampoo, apparently. Could be, yeah. Well, that's historically that's been done. I stopped washing my hair. Can you tell? Does it look dirty now? I used to have amazing hair, but right in there. My forehead used to be right here. Used to be right there. Yeah, thank you very much. What have I forgotten? Anything have I forgotten? You can eat runny eggs with the rawness. And once you know it's raw, okay, here's egg yolks, according to, I don't know whether I could say what the nutrients are. The nutrients. Raw eggs are 16% protein, very high in saturated fat, 10% saturated fat. It's got low salt. It's got calcium in it, potassium. It doesn't know. Tap nutrients to see insights. I don't know. Let's see what egg whites have. So it's 16%. It's 16%. It's 27 grams of fat. But it's 16% protein, so it's very high in protein. Okay, now let's see what it says about egg whites. Egg whites, raw. I'm talking raw food now, but you can cook it yourself. Food label. Food label. Oh, it doesn't say anything. It says protein 22% for the egg whites. Yeah, maybe it's right. But it's got 0 vitamin A, 0 vitamin C, practically 0 calcium, practically 0 iron, and a little bit of potassium. No, it doesn't have any of the good things. It doesn't have anything according to this. Let's see what it says for the egg yolks. 16% protein, but if you get rid of the whites, no, it's not. It says egg yolks, Joodles. You're meeting 10% of that due to the ratio. No, I know you're very smart, but that's not the case. The case is, let's see what it says. Nutrients, my foods. I don't know if I could do this here. Add a photo, AI meal scan. Food label. Maybe it's the food. Okay. So what does it have? What does egg yolks have? It has 16% protein, 16 grams of protein for 100. It's got high cholesterol, It's got high vitamin C, 42% vitamin A. It's got calcium, 10% calcium. Maybe that's of the daily, whatever it is. It's got high iron, 15% iron. It's got retinol, good stuff. Alpha carotene, good stuff. Beta carotene, good stuff. Thin. Lutein. That is so important. That is so important. Yeah, the chick feeds off the white. The chick is the yolk. So I'm saying eat the yolk, eat the chick. You don't need to eat the. That's not what you said, Lewis. You said the egg is 16% protein. No, I didn't say that. You're always misquoting me. I'm saying the egg yolk is 16% protein. I'm not even saying 16%. Yeah, I'm saying 16% protein. That's about as high as you're going to get. Meat is like 20% protein. It's very high. I don't know. What are you're always doing this, Joodles. You're I don't know. You're always mishearing me ever so slightly. I think it is. Or maybe I've made a mistake. Maybe I made a mistake and say whatever. Maybe I've made a mistake. I'm sorry for making a mistake. I'm sorry. Egg white is the same enzymes as gentleman's relish, which is why they both go white in water. Okay. What is gentleman's relish? Isn't that not what I think it is? Not the dirty thing. Yeah, we've lost a lot of people. Okay, we lost a lot of people. The chick feeds on the yolk, says Lucy. Yeah, he does. But we're not a chick. We are the yolk. We're eating the chick. We're eating the chick. Eggs are good. But lutein is one of those things that are not available in a plant-based diet, lutein. You meant the dirty thing. Okay, Kermit. Okay, can we not okay. Maybe Lorna will hear that and she'll think, she'll start thinking dirty thoughts. Julia says 16% protein, but if you get rid of the whites, no, it's the egg yolks. We're not talking about it's not the ratio. Oh, sorry, I'm rereading your thing. It's not the ratio. How is your energy level using your diet? I'm out every day picking up rubbish. That's pretty good energy level. I don't go to sleep. I'm up with the girls and the guys. I'm talking to you people. Do I seem like I've got energy? You don't need carbs. You want to pass out after you eat. Have a piece of pizza. It was entirely for Lorna, but I think the egg talk lost her. Yeah, so maybe it's lost her. But I think it's important. Have we had this discussion before? Okay. Did I yell at Lucy? Did I yell at you, Joodles? I didn't. Joodles doesn't care. She's a brave girl. She can be yelled at by me. But you do that a lot. You tend to do that. You think I'm not. Rosalie Muir is here. There is lutein in marigolds. Okay. How much lutein is there in marigold petals? Let's see if they have this in this category. Lutein in marigold petals. Let's see if there's lutein in marigold petals. Not that I don't believe you, but how do we know? How can I be sure in a world that's constantly changing? How can I be sure? Marigold. In petals, petals. I don't think it's listed. Marigold. What am I doing here? Marigold. Thank you for coming in there. I appreciate that. Is that who sang? This song was sung by the Rascals. Marigold petals. Edible. Is it safe to eat marigold petals? Okay, I'm going to have to look on nutrients. Nutrients. For me, nutrients. Okay. I mean, generally speaking, we don't eat flowers. What flowers do we eat? I don't know. Let me look here. Can you send me a link? Maybe I should look for a link. Maybe I shouldn't be paying attention to this much. What are we looking for exactly? Lewis, my energy level is good. It is very, very good. Am I capable of doing anything? No. But I'm so much clearer. You've seen me. I've been doing this. This is the 88th show. It's the 6th of September 2025. 88 shows. So that is 160. It's 176 hours of show. And I think I've got good energy now. Just type lutein marigold. Okay, let me type that in. Lutein marigold. Lutein marigold. Okay, it's excellent antioxidant, which we don't believe in antioxidant. We don't believe in that. I don't even know why I don't even believe in it. I don't believe in it. Is marigold high in oxalates? Saponins. It's a flower. We shouldn't be eating flowers. Okay. Daisy's good. Even the root can be eaten. If you're starving. If you're starving. But if you're not starving, I wouldn't eat any plant whatsoever. Okay. Why are you thinking? Do you think I look like David Cassidy right now? I met him once at recording a radio show at the BBC. I went into the bowels of the BBC, and I met David Cassidy. Or no, maybe it was the other David. David Cassidy. Daisies make you wet the bed. Do they do that? Laugh out loud. No, don't eat them. I meant dandelion. I said, don't eat dandelion anyway. I remember when I was a kid, and I think Mary Ann might know this in America, they were told, they used to have guys who believed in eating this kind of rubbishy stuff. I think Holly got caught by her mom. She's been grounded without a phone. Yeah, maybe for bothering people. I meant, how can I be sure what you are singing? You sure look like him too. Is that a song that he sang? David Cassidy, how can I be sure? How can I be sure in a world that's constantly changing? How can I be sure? David Cassidy? Cassidy? How? Oh, he did sing it. He did sing it. I'm going to listen to it on the radio and see what he did. He was on Top of the Pops. He had great hair. And I'm going to see what he sounded like. You know who is? This is David Cassidy. With You. It's a great song, yeah. Jedster. I only eat Daisy the cow. Yeah. You could probably eat most plants, and they'll just kill you slowly. It's a great song. Felix Cavalieri. They're a Long Island band. I mean, not my kind of Long Island, but they're a Long Island band. Dandelions taste like dog piss. Well, the ones in the park do. That's a good joke. Thank you, Kermit. That's a good joke. I'm hoping for shouty lyrics. No, I can't. I can't because you'll tell me I'm going to be banned, whatever. This thing is monetized. I can't risk losing the £1.90 that this show brings in. Remember, seeing people collecting dandelions and greens for salads. Yeah, because we were sold on a bill of goods and we were starving. People were hungry back then because we were told meat is bad for us. I eat Mary Jane regularly. Who is she? Oh, no. What is Mary Jane? That's like pot. That's like pot. Or smoke it, whatever. Eat it, yeah. Put it in a cake. Put it in a cake. Kermit is laughing my A off. I do not eat plants. I'm against plants. Maybe we'll have a poll. Let's work on a poll. No, Lewis, when you listen to tunes by yourself, you normally shout the lyrics to us. Well, I can't shout the music. I only have my voice. Thank you, Joodles. I only have my voice. I only have my voice. What can I do? Yeah. Mary Ann McCarra says, David Bowie was mine. I liked him too. You could almost say he was too far, he was too advanced for his time. David Bowie. Okay. David Bowie. All right, so now we're waiting for Holly to come in. We're waiting for Holly. I have to take a 2-minute break. Can I take a 2-minute break? You're asking about my energy, and I'm telling you I'm doing great. And then I think to myself, I've got to just wash my face. So I'm not falling asleep, but I need to focus on the next part of the show so we end strong. Can we have more songs, please? You don't really mean that, Joodles. You don't mean that. But, I mean, that was a great song. I guess because you were raised, Joe, in the 1970s when David Cassidy was a big star in America. Who was his father? Do you know who his father was? His father was a very famous, sort of famous, TV actor. He was in like 3 or 4 Columbos. What was his name? David Cassidy, not David Cassidy. And his mother was married in the Partridge Family. I think what I'm saying is true. Okay. I think Holly is abandoned, yeah. This is what happens. You get abandoned. I was looking at somebody, one of the people that I used to follow, and I actually met him and talked to him for about 2 hours. Not 2 hours, maybe a long time. It seemed like 2 hours. And now I don't watch him again. He's a great guy. He's the guy who does the YouTube. Maybe you know this guy. He does the YouTube videos where he goes into Poundland and takes a cheap 1 pound item that's electrical and breaks it down and does a drawing about it. Yeah. Not like Hopalord Cassidy, Jim Carter. No. Jack Cassidy. Right. Jack Cassidy is a famous actor. Am I right? Was it Jack Cassidy? Yes. And his mother was, who was his mother? What's his mother's name? But, so I was, he would take, I forget what his name is. I should remember his name. I saw him, Big Clive, exactly, Keith Clive. And he now has like 1 million followers. He's doing amazing. And I remember him about 8 years ago during the early days. His wife was not Evelyn Ward, Mrs. Cassidy. It wasn't Mrs. Cassidy. His wife was a famous actress in the 1950s. And she was David Cassidy's mom. I'm going to let you all, I'm not going to do a search for it. I'm going to let you all come in here and figure out who it was. I don't remember the name. Not Mrs. Cassidy, Fontenay, not Ludd, Mrs. Cassidy. But Big Clive would take these super cheap 1 pound items, maybe they're 1 pound Christmas lights, maybe they're 1 pound little radios, something like that. Not Lucille Ball's Fontenay. And I used to love her. She was amazing. Anyway, and he would break them apart, and he would take a picture. Keith probably remembers this. A picture of the electrical circuit. YouTuber. You is a YouTuber. Hi there. Hi, YouTuber. Who are you? Where are you from? Are you fat? Evelyn May Ward, 1923 to 2012, was an American actress, dancer, known for her stage musical performances, and appears. Her son, that's not her real name. Evelyn May Ward. Her real name was something else. Shirley Jones. Yes, it's Shirley Jones. Maybe she changed her name to Shirley Jones. What do you think? Like women to do videos in shopping halls. Yes, he does stuff from Temu. He probably, yeah, Temu. He just used to go into, and he turned me on to buying an electrical thing that could tell how many output, how much memory something had through the 5 watt thing. Big Tom and the Mainliners, Four Country Roads. I don't know that song. Evelyn was his real mom, not his TV mom. I thought she was his real mom. Did she change her name? Did Shirley Jones change her name from Evelyn May Ward? She was born, she's like as old as my mom was born in 1928. That's a long time ago. So she lived till almost 90 years old. That's a long time. But I used to love that. I used to love Big Keith. I used to love Big Clive stuff. I used to love it. And he used to, I remember, it was so long ago, before I went low carb, he used to make these cakes where he put a little bit of flour, a little bit of cocoa powder, a little bit of maybe possibly milk in this thing, and then put it in the microwave. I don't even know what the instructions are, but Big Clive is great. I only started watching him a couple of years ago. I really do enjoy his stuff, but thought it would be quite niche. Now he's got 1 million people watching it. And I saw him on the street and recognized him. And I don't know what he thought about me, but I brought him into the, I was at the whatchamacallit. I sat there and talked to him for like 2 hours. I thought he was probably so thrilled that somebody recognized him. Now he's a big star. He's gonna say, thank you very much. It's nice of you. It's good. Thank you. And he wouldn't have come in. I bought him a cup of tea, whatever. Jack Cassidy died in a fire after falling asleep with a lit cigarette, says Lucy. Here she is with the info. Previously, he went mad and watered his front lawn naked and claimed to be Jesus. Oh, that's a bit tragic. That's a bit tragic. Would I ever do that? I might do that. BitClive.com does reviews of Tut. What is Tut? What is Tut? Does review of Tut. What does Tut mean? What does that word Tut, T-U-O-T? He's called Little Clive now. He gave up the carbs. Has he lost weight? I might have told him about it. Because that's when it could have been that time. I brought him into the, I know how most people remember everything. I don't remember anything. But he might have lost weight. Yeah, he was a bit fat. He was a big man. His dad divorced Evelyn when Dave was 10 and married Shirley. Okay, so he's a stepmom. Have you ever seen a Fanny on British TV? No, the baker, whatever, the cook, Fanny, what's her name? No, I never saw her. So stepmom. Okay, stepmom. That's what women are afraid of, somebody stealing their kids. Tut, tat, pruck, cheap nonsense. Okay, whatever it is. Have I ever seen, what did you say? Tut. I'm being dumb. Who does the product reviews? That's Big Clive. Fantastic show. And then there's the other guy who does the electrical stuff. Fanny Craddock, right? That's a Fanny. That's a Fanny. Tut is like tat. To me, it's like cheap rubbish items. Some of those things are quite, he breaks them down and he loves them. He loves them. I think that's really good. Tut, thank you, Tut. Thank you, Jules, for the information. John Van Dam says, okay, stepmom, that's what women are afraid of stealing. Their kids, howling Lewis. Yes, yeah, that's what women are afraid of, losing their kids, because they love their kids so much. They look at their children like they're so amazing. They think, of course someone wants to steal my kids. That's why Kate McCann and Jerry McCann might have, and I'm just suggesting, might have said that someone was trying to steal Madeline McCann. Jack Cassidy's second wife said he had many same-sex affairs, one with Cole Porter. Okay, now that's the dirt. He could be gay. He could be gay. Well, Lucy seems to be interested in who's gay and who's not. Am I gay, Lucy? Hope not. I'm not good looking enough to be gay. Keith thanks Judels for the information. Yeah. But it's a great show. So what is his show called? What is his show called? Let's find out what his show with Big Clive is called. Do we remember what his show is called? BigClive.com. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's called BigClive.com. Latest pulse, 4 days ago. How to make a universal something. This connector can kill you. Yeah, he breaks things apart and says this is a bit dangerous. He bought a product and then he tests it out, which is what it should be done. But we let in any kind of tat from China without testing it. There we go. Inside a crane claw. He must have found this lying around, and sometimes he fixes it. Most of the time he checks it. He checks it. That's very interesting to me. I find it very interesting. So Lucy says that Jack Cassidy's second wife, right? Who's the famous Shirley Jones, and she was in like Oklahoma, like things like that, or she was in Coalport. What was that? What was the one with the Guys and Dolls? I think she was in Guys and Dolls. She was a very American type girl at that time, whatever American looked like. Once I was looking after some older boys at school, Vantanai says. They said, "Sir, can we see your porn trailer at 11 p.m.?" One of them added, "No point. You can only see..." What does that mean exactly, Vantanai? Once I was looking after some older boys at school, and they asked, "Sir, can we, sir, comma," they asked, not said, "can we see the porn trailer at 11 p.m.?" What was the porn trailer? One then added, it says them, but then added, "No point. You only see..." No. You can explain what that means. Exactly. Carousel. She was in Carousel too. She was a huge Broadway star. She was young and pretty. And what does that mean? Yeah, what does it mean? Was he saying a joke? I can't tell if he's making a joke. I love buying rubbish on Temu, but it is insane how scammy it is. Yeah. Well, you buy. I remember buying like whatever, a huge plug-in card, and you get it, and it didn't plug. It didn't. You thought it was broken. It didn't save the stuff that it saved. It saved. I've lived a very sheltered life. No, I'm sheltered from England. I don't know any of this stuff. I don't know. On the claw machine, he shows how it only gives enough power to pick an item up every 50 goes, or whatever it's set to. It needs a, what do you call that little battery that they have in there? Capacitor. It needs a bigger capacitor so they can save it. So that's how it's scammed. I'm going to watch that. That sounds brilliant. I'm going to watch that. Here it is. Is that what he tested the capacitor? The capacitor is like a battery. It's like a battery. Okay, I'm convinced Temu is a harvesting site, especially for bank details. You know what? Knowing the Chinese, I mean, is it racist to say that? You can't trust them. They're our enemy in this world. I would say it could be that. It could be that. That's what. It could be that. Kermit says, "I used to get 10 minutes of dirty channels before you had to pay to watch on satellite or cable or something." Led says, "You can only see boobies, not Mary." Okay, I don't really understand. Judel says, I'm convinced Temu is into is info harvesting site, especially for bank details. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. I just know that those things are bad. I used to get stuff on what was the other site that's like Temu, and I used to buy a 1 terabyte card, 1 terabyte card, and it come back. I couldn't even save 10 megabytes. It's a lie, and it was so small. It was a lie. How could it be? How could it save this much stuff? I'm convinced. Yeah, that's a very good point. That's a very good point. Okay. Okay. Live chat. Top fans. I'll be right back in a second. I'll be back in a second. I'll be right back in a second. Talk amongst yourselves. There you go. Okay, I'm back. I think the show's been all right. It's not been the best show. Maybe it is the best show. I think if you're interested in eggs, I think it's been a very good show. Okay, so we're getting back to Shirley Jones Lewis. Who is that? That's Joe Carousel, and just the music man with Robert Preston just providing trivia. That's not trivia. It's information that we need. Yes, Jules, I want to get the CCP's good books before they take over. They're not taking over. They're not going to take over. You would want them to take over because they believe in drinking and have good food and don't want to kill us. Maybe they do. Maybe they want to enslave us, but I mean, I'm not going to say who we don't want to take over. Overnight house duty at a boarding school. Boys were 15 to 16. There was a free porn trailer on Sky at 11 p.m. How am I supposed to know that? I'm growing up in New York. Or I wasn't even in New York. I was in Manhattan. We didn't have to watch Sky. We didn't even know what Sky was. We didn't even know what 11 p.m. was. We were just getting up at 11 p.m. Minges, I know what that is. I know what that is, but I did not know at 11 o'clock. I did not know what that meant. There you go. So Judas is saying nice things about Keith. Must have been a time to renew the sun bleached stock, maybe. John Van Dam, I don't know what that's about. The point is, let's get back. I wasn't saying this to say, I didn't know. I didn't know. Lewis, got to go feed my chickens. Can I tell you something interesting that happened today? Lewis needs to learn about. I know what the word means. You couldn't see my hands. I was going down like this. And when I was talking about the other thing, I was going like this. Because I don't know if we could say that. It's got to be good for everybody. Mary Ellen Clout. We don't need to discuss this. Lucy comes in there and says, I rate this episode third best of all the egg-themed shows. It wasn't the best show. I think, how many have we done? 2? So this is the third one. Yeah. Here's the point. So I'm in the park today with Darren Walsh. And his wife is there. And his kid is there. His kid is about 6 or 7 years old. And I was talking to Darren and his wife. And the kid's like a little baby. And she says, the baby couldn't sleep. And you, Lewis, she brought this up. I didn't remember this. Told us how to get the baby to sleep. Lewis Schaffer. Okay? How to get the baby to sleep. Okay? My friend Tristan is messaging me. And you know what I mean? He should know we got a show that we're doing right now. And I said how to get the baby to go to sleep because it was keeping them up. They were so unhappy. And this is how she put the baby. So I told her how to put the baby to sleep, which is put the kid in a darkened room, and they'll go to sleep. Just dark. You got to let the baby cry for a little bit. I mean, it sounds abusive, but it wasn't abusive. It's not abusive. And they cry for a little bit, and then they go to sleep. And in the darkness, it was so happy. It's like with me talking about chicken eggs or something. Maybe you don't believe me. Maybe Google says something differently. Okay, but this is what you need to do. Okay, so this has been our show. I think it's been a very good show. As Lucy says, it's the third best egg-themed show. Okay, I know stuff. You might not believe it, but I do know stuff. Thank you very much, Jim Carter, for coming in and spending the entire show with us. Thank you, Hi-Ho, Kermit, Ludd, Ruben. Thank you, John Van Dam, for being here at the end. Joodles, Lucy, Joodles, Vatanai, thank you very much. Thank you. Who else are we thanking? Joe is here. I just appreciate it. Mary Ann, thanks for coming in. The average person spends about 25 minutes watching this show. So I do appreciate that. Remember what you need to do. You need to like this thing. Thank you for telling me how to change the sound. I really appreciate that. Let me go into this thing and find the Discord page. Can you join the Discord page? Jim Carter? Can you do that? Yeah, you can, of course. Can you go to the YouTube page and press like? That would mean a lot. The Discord page. Press like. Hold on a second. And can you subscribe? Those things are all free. They're all free. I'm going to post this up here. I'm going to post this here. There you go. There you go. Post this thing. Can you see where it says Discord? Can you do that, Discord? Is Tristan here? Hi there, back from Spain. I couldn't talk to you. I couldn't tell you about the 16th because I'm doing the show. But thank you very much. Did you hear me mention you? So also what you can do is if you go onto the YouTube page, it'll show a picture of me with a blue background looking very rugged. It'll say Lewis Schaffer, 10,030 followers, and then it'll say join. And if you press join, it'll say join this channel, and it's 10 pence a day. 10 pence a day. Frodo is here. Late again, pal. Was watching boring England football. Yeah, sorry. Well, England has always been boring because they score one goal and they say, let's go defense. When you know you need to score lots of goals. That's what England should do. It's like when England got rid of, when Crystal Palace got rid of Harry Redknapp, suddenly they started to win. I think it was him. I don't want to blame him. They started to win because one goal is not enough. You need to fight for more and more goals. That's how you win. You don't go into defensive mode. Anyway, thank you, Jedster, for being here. Proto for coming late. Keith Bexley, thank you, totally. The Jedster, totally appreciated to see you. Who else do we have? Ludd, really great. Marianne, it's just so important that you come in. And if you can throw me whatever it is, it's really nice. Throw me a like, throw me a subscribe, go on to Discord. Really, really important. Rosalie Muir, thank you very much. I'm going to find out about this thing. Lutein. It's very important. Lutein. Marigold. All right. Anybody else want to say something before we go? Anybody else want to say something? Once I was looking at some. Okay, you'd said that. Good. And that's I was caught up to that spot. Everybody's writing a million things. Look at everybody. It will be on YouTube later until Lewis gets bored later. with his insomnity, then it will be deleted. That's not true. I didn't do it intentionally. I know it's incurable. King Charles cancer update as he tries cutting-edge treatment to extend drain. Now, he's an alcoholic, first of all. He looks like an alcoholic. I'm not saying he's an alcoholic, but that's what probably caused the cancer. And he eats a very high-carb diet. And so if you want to cure your cancer or prevent growth, you'd go on a low-glucose keto diet. I believe that. Okay? Can you not hear me? Can you not hear me? Oh, no. You're not listening. Maybe that's why Charles is hedging his bets with the religion of peace. Yeah, with the Muslims, ensuring that his place upstairs. Yeah, I mean, it is a bit sad. His mother, basically, remember, his mother's only been dead like 2 years or something. Great show, Lewis, and love you guys. Thank you, Joe. I think this has been a really good show. It hasn't been the greatest show, but I think it's the kind of show you could listen to tonight and fall asleep if I don't delete it. I think it's been really good. I think so. I'd like to believe that. It's not the same without a sound problem. Yeah, I put some time. I don't want to say who helped me. Who helped me? One of you people helped me. And if you want to say who helped me, I will recognize you and say, this person did a really great job helping me. I will say that. So, I mean, quite a few people have actually helped me, but one person especially. Okay. Yeah. You got to restrain yourself. So that's been our show. I'm going to leave it on for about 2 more minutes. I don't like the king. Neither do I. Sorry. Maybe I shouldn't even talk like that. Talk like this. Maybe it should be against the law. Okay. Are we ready to say goodbye? Say goodbye. I'm going to go to end stream, and then you're going to talk to each other for like 2 minutes, and I'm going to come back in and end the screen. I'm going to post it up later. Recommend this to your friends. But don't have really high. Don't say, oh, my God, you got to listen to this guy. He's amazing. Just say, I like it. I like it. He does a martini around 11 o'clock. And he's not been taking pills. Look at his hands. His hands are like swollen, like my hands. Donna Aylesbury here. Shot these 5 p.m. shows are hard to fit in. Yeah, they're hard to fit in. But you'll listen to it later. Maybe on the weekends we can change the time or something. And my son isn't here, so he's not going to mind. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Ready? Say goodbye.